Hello. This is awkward. I don't know at what point this is not going to be awkward. Maybe never because I'm just not a camera person. Like, I don't like being in the public, and I know that I'm uploading all of this onto the public domain, even though I don't think anyone's going to watch it. There's still that little fear inside me that's um, that stops me every time for like a second, and then I'm like, hey, whatever. I'm just gonna do it anyway. So, today I want to talk about hobbies and a bunch of hobbies that I've been trying out for the past couple of years and months, and some that I've been trying to build for multiple years at this point, and some that have been fairly new. Um, yeah, two hobbies that I'm having the most fun with. I used to do my nails a lot. I don't anymore. I still have polish on them and I still do my nails. And I used to consider that a hobby, but I don't pay as close of attention to them anymore. That's something I really want to get back into doing because I really like how nice my hands look. I know it's because of like the henna bits, right? It doesn't look the best right now, but I like how my nails are. Um, my Instagram has a lot of stuff about my nails, but yeah, okay, moving on. So that was something that I used to do for a while. I still do it, not as strongly. Apart from that, the hobbies that I've recently built and that I'm having a lot of fun with, one is reading, which is something I was never able to do in the past, and it's something that I've been trying to build a habit of for over a decade now. Um, Never worked out, but I feel like finally something's happening. And I think the reason why it never worked out for me before is because every time that I tried to read books, I would go like a very novel fiction. I don't know what to call it, but like young adult route. And that was just not my type. I don't know, like, I don't know, I just couldn't. And instead, now what I found out is that I enjoy much more reading like classic literature. Um, I don't know why that is. I have no idea. But yeah, that is how it is. And on the side, what I want to do is I also want to build a habit of reading philosophy and religion and psychology, those books. But I just feel they're above my pay grade right now, right? I don't understand complicated writing. I'm not a reader. So I have absolutely no idea how to navigate my way around those, but I'm trying. So I'll just go ahead and show like the books that I've read, how much I've read them, the ones that I have still on my list, and so on. So, this is the first book, To Kill a Mockingbird. This is a book that I have not read. Reason being that I just could not get myself to focus on it. I borrowed it from a friend. I've had it for over 2 years now, probably, and I still haven't gotten around to reading it past like the first 10 pages because I'll read it and then I'll forget what it's about in the 10 pages that I've read, and then I'll have to start over again, and it kind of continues like that. And it's really hard for me to keep up with a storyline. I just forget. Um, so I haven't been able to read that, even though I thought that this is more of a classic. Again, I'm not a reader, so I don't know the right terminologies. But I thought that this was a book that everyone reads, so it might be easier to read, but not for me. Then apart from that, I bought this, and hold on. That's right. So these are both about, so obviously you have this guy Marx, and then you have the German philosopher that I'm not going to pronounce at all. But I've read both of these books. These are, I don't know, I think they're called like secondary writings or something. So they're not the books of these guys directly. They're more so like excerpts from their book. And then the author, who is Terry Eagleton and Ronald Heyman, just explaining how uh, how the writer wrote, what they meant, and that sort of thing, their writing style. And I thought that would be an easier read than going ahead and getting like huge, thick books by these writers because, again, above my pay grade, right? But I did manage to finish these. That was really good. What caught my eye was actually this book and the way that it opens. Let me. So like I opened the book and like the first sentence, and as someone who likes reading about religion, as in like online and watching a bunch of videos and stuff, this was really good and it's what caught my eye, and I ended up buying the book. So it says, unless you believe in a God, you cannot believe God is dead. An entity which never existed cannot die. And I thought that was a good sentence. That was a good line. It made me want to read more. So I did, and then I ow, and then I picked up another book as well, which was the Marx's writings, and that was fun. What else? And then I read this Nationalism. This is a great read. Um, I love it, by Rabindranath Tagore. Great stuff. I loved it. It's divided in three bits. I think it's Japan, Asia, Japan, India, and the U.S. I think that's how it's divided. Yeah, Japan, the West, and India. And it was a great read. I had a lot of fun reading it. I think and it's very like straightforward in its writing. Um, so a very simple thing to read, and especially if you have experience with any of these three cultures, it's going to be really fun to navigate and like see how things are different in the three regions. So super good. I want to read this again because I feel like I missed out on bits. Because when I read this, I wasn't a super good reader, so it was really hard for me to focus. So I know there's a lot of stuff that I missed out, and that I just didn't grasp. So I want to go back and read this at some point. Then the book that really caught my interest, and where I feel like I succeeded in building a habit, is this Leo Tolstoy's Selected Stories. It has, I don't know, but like a lot of stories. And like the shortest ones are like 3 pages long, and the longest ones are maybe like 50 pages long. And there's like two of those, but majority of the book it's pretty a lot of good short stories, and again like very straightforward writing. I wanted to get Tolstoy because I want to read War and Peace. Again, above my pay grade. I didn't know if I would understand his writing, so I ended up just getting this, read this. Most of the books, I think I have one story in this that I haven't read, and it was great. I enjoyed it thoroughly. Great lessons, great way of writing, very straightforward, very easy to keep track of, in my opinion. And yeah, good stuff. I loved it. Incredible book. Another book that I picked up, excuse me. Another book that I picked up a while ago, this was one of the first that I bought, was Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. And I picked this up because a lot of years ago, someone had told me that their favorite book was Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, and I didn't really. And she went on to explain that how even though it was a children's book, it had a lot in it, and I kind of wanted to find out what that a lot in it was, but again, was never able to keep track of it past the first 10 pages. I keep forgetting what it's about, even though it's like a pretty short read. It's not even thick at all. Uh, but yeah, I guess my mind is just not ready for something like this, so I haven't read it. Then we have Sigmund Freud, The Unconscious. This was really difficult for me to read. It initially what I wanted to get by Freud was an even thinner book. It was about dreams. Um, but when I went back to the bookstore, I couldn't find it. And then I went back multiple times, I still couldn't find it. And I really wanted to start reading Freud. So I ended up getting The Unconscious. It's what I thought was, might be of interest. And I have a bookmark here because this is the last thing that I was reading. So ooh, it's upside down. But yeah, I don't really care for bookmarks. Um, but yeah, I am 56, 57 pages in, and I have a lot to go. But again, the way that this book is divided, it's mainly like 3 to 4 papers that discuss a bunch of different things. And because I'm more of a psychology grad, more of a psychology grad. I am a psychology grad. Yeah, it's a good read in my opinion. It was really hard in the beginning to understand because the language is so different from fiction. Because of course these are like papers, um, and they're written in a very different style to how papers are written now. Now papers I can read through them. They're very structured. It's great. But with this, I felt like there's a lot of background information that you need to have. And of course, again, my degree kind of gave me that background. But for someone who's just starting out, I feel like this might be a pretty difficult read um, because there's just so much that he uses, like so many words that he uses that I don't think you'd come across in regular life, and it would take a really long time for you to get through the book. Um, yeah, if I wasn't a psychology grad, I would have definitely skipped on this book. I would not have been able to read it because I would have forgotten what the previous pages said. But anyway, after the first couple of times, it became a lot easier to read it, and then I started enjoying reading it. But I wanted to take a break from the book because I think it's very dense in its knowledge, and I want to take time to absorb it, live with it, and then go back to the book and review it again. So that's why I haven't finished this book. And lastly, is this book that I bought years ago. I think it was like 4 years ago at this point. This is an Urdu book. It's by a really famous author called Manto. You know, really good stuff. And initially, someone told me that he wrote erotica, so uh, yeah, was not a fan. But after that, when I started looking into his works and Googled him and everything, I realized that he writes really well, or he wrote really well. He's not alive anymore. Um, yeah, and then I bought the book. It's in Urdu. I cannot read Urdu very well, so I did not end up reading it. But what I did end up doing was YouTubing a bunch of audiobooks and reading his work that way. So basically listening to it. And honestly, they were really good. Yeah, all the stories that I've gone through so far have been insane. They're so good. I love it. And I hope there's translations of his work as well because it genuinely is really, really good. But anyway, so these are the books that I have, and then of course this one. They normally stay there, but yeah, I pulled them out because I wanted to show them in this video, and I want to keep building the habit because I'm really enjoying it as long as I can focus on it. And I also want to get into, like I said, reading more philosophy and religion stuff, or like philosophy of religion and philosophy in general as well. And then psychology, I think it's great. And then I want to get into reading more classics too. I've always had for some reason, like easier time reading something like Shakespeare. I've read a couple of his plays, and they've been fairly easy. And of course, that's like fiction as well. But I don't know. Maybe it's like the writing style that's different, and that allows me to stay in the book, stay with it, stay with the storyline, compared to something that's written in a more, I don't know, like paragraph form. Again, I don't know like what it's called, but whatever. In that form, I think dialogues are easier to read, or something that's more like a script and very direct and leaves little to imagination because I don't have the best imagination as of yet. I'm really bad at imagining things or coming up with anything creative. Um, yeah, so that is for reading. There's a couple of other hobbies that I have that I wanted to talk about in this video as well. Actually, I'm just going to talk about one more, and then we're going to leave that. Leave the rest of the hobbies for like another day, right? But these are the two that I've been enjoying recently. So, crocheting. Here's a granny square that I crocheted, and that I had to find my way around because my yarn was much, much thinner than the hook that I was using. So, let me show you. So, when I was first making granny squares, they came out super ugly, like that. That is bad. And then I just changed my technique and I sort of doubled the yarn or tripled it, and then I got this. It's not perfect, but I think it's really good for a first try. Um, and I couldn't manage to like put this in, so it's just hanging out. But so I made this granny square. I made this as well, another granny. This was actually my first granny square after the mess ups. So this was the first, this was the second, and I made this ugly one that came before everything. I made another ugly one just trying to figure out, what was going wrong. What else? This was the first thing that I crocheted. I was trying to crochet a square, but I clearly missed a couple of loops here. So that's why it's not really a square. But after this, I ended up crocheting a phone case that I gave to someone. And yeah, this was the first thing that I crocheted. That was the second. Then I went on to crocheting these bits, then this, then this. It was fun. And then I wanted to try out another. Oh, before I went ahead, sorry, before I went ahead and like tripled the yarn on these, I wanted to test it out. So I ended up just like doing this, like a bunch of um, chain stitches and double stitches, double chains. Yeah, and just going with that. It's not really anything, but I think I can use it as a bookmark if I add like a tassel to it here, which is what I tried doing with another one of these. I tried doing like Trinity stitches, but I don't think hold on, I think I'm holding it upside down. Yeah. I tried doing Trinity stitches, but it's not the most finished work, not the most polished, but it's fun to learn a new stitch. So yeah, so that's what I did, and then I ran out of yarn, um, and that's all that I did with a 6 mm hook. So this is a pretty big hook, and the size of yarn that I have is, um, I don't know, man. I don't know. I just felt like it was too thin for the hook, so I had to triple it, and I liked the result much more. Um, but anyway, so and this is all of the yarn that I have left. I want to go ahead and get in more colors so I can actually make things down because these two colors are they're fun. They're two of my favorite colors, but I don't really want to make anything in them. I wear a lot of neutrals, and I like to decorate with a lot of neutrals. So now that I finally have some ideas of what I want to make an ottoman that goes there. So I have like a stool to sit on. Um, I was going to purchase one, but now that I kind of know how to crochet, I just want to go ahead and make myself an ottoman. I want to do that. I want to make like a table mat, which is what I'm trying to do, and is a great way to segue into lace crocheting. I started this yesterday, and it is so much more difficult. Hold on, let me hold it this way. So much more difficult than, yeah. I haven't completed the circle, the flower, the round that I'm on. But yeah, it's so much more difficult than these thicker crochet bits. Wow, insane. It took me so long just to get through this, and if I want to make a table cover, I'll have to make like a patch, like basically a granny square of this pattern, like six or nine times, and then I'll get to make like a um, mat for my side table. So that's going to take a while, but I have a lot of yarn for that. I separated it into like a bunch of different strings, as in it came as a ball like this that had like once you open it, it's a bunch of long strings, but they all get tangled when they're in this form. So I kind of just made a bundle of like there were 24 in total, so I made a bundle of 12 and then another bundle. Now this bundle is open because of course I'm using it here and I have to keep taking strings out. But yes, so that's my second hobby. Both hobbies I'm finding to be a great use of my time. I love it, absolutely. I think they're great. They're a great way to pass my time. I really enjoy it. I want to do more of both of these things, and hopefully I get really good at them. And yeah, I really want to continue. I'm having so much fun, and there's a bunch of different hobbies that I want to explore as well, and that I'm working on, like exercising. I want to go on runs, which is why I'm in these clothes right now. May not look like it, but yeah, I'm just gonna tie my hair up and then go for a run. And yeah, I want to get back into playing the guitar. I have my guitar that's sitting there. You can't see it's out of the frame, but I want to get back into that. I want to get back into playing the piano. I don't have a piano here, so I will have to buy that. Um, but yeah, a bunch of other hobbies that I really want to get back into. And yeah, I think they're really productive ways to use my time instead of overthinking or um, kind of just laying in existential dread. Yeah. I also really like journaling. I have my journal right here. It's great. I really like it. I don't journal as much as I used to, but I want to get back into it because when I did journal, it was a great experience. There's like a little bit of Urdu in it as well. Yeah. I hope nobody screen grabs that and tries to read it because it's very sad and doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But yeah, it's fun. I like it. I want to get back into journaling too. And this video is again too long. I don't like super long videos because I know I'm not going to go ahead and watch them back. But here we are. Next time I'll stick to one hobby or one topic in a video. I won't try to cover everything. Clearly, I'm a talker. I like talking. But anyway, yeah, that is it for now. Goodbye, future Sarah. My name is also Sarah. It's not Sarah, but when I say it in English, it just comes out as Sarah, and I'm super used to saying Sarah because clients from the US. So Sarah. Anyway, why am I explaining? Goodbye, future self. Take care.